Welcome back to Ration Nerd, everyone. Today, we are rocking over to Mongolia. This is a Mongolian 24-hour ration. I'm pretty excited to get into this, although I think the contents might be along the same lines as a Russian ration. I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to crack into this thing, have a great time with it. I've been waiting a little while to do this ration because I really wanted to have the time to devote to it, to do it right. But you guys know how it goes. If you appreciate what I'm doing here on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, talk to me in the chat. Let's bust into this ration. I've been sitting on this for a month or so, really dying to get into it. Today is the day. All right, we have this pretty cool digital camo box, which will definitely make a really great addition to the Ration Nerd wallpaper project. Yes, did look like it took a little bit of damage on its way here, but not anything too bad. Check that out. I'm not sure if that comes in every ration or if that was just added by the person who sent it to me. Empire of Mongolia. Looks like I got a couple of stamps there. That's pretty awesome. Somebody let me know if you've ever had a Mongolian ration and you got stamps in yours, but that's pretty cool. Stamps. And before I proceed, I need to move this damn thing out of the way. Alright, so it looks like we have 3 packs of biscuits, and in all honesty, these really look like shortbread cookies, so that could be a refreshing change if they have not gone rancid. So we have 3 packs of shortbread cookies. That's what I'm calling them for now until I get the first bite. We have a ridiculous cutlery set with a broken fork. That's pretty awesome. We'll crack into this here in a few minutes. I have a feeling we're going to be reaching over to the side of the table and grabbing some silverware from another nation because that's just not going to cut it. But we have some silverware. We have a liver pate. This actually translated to liver mash. We have a soft tin of beef with rice. That's pretty cool. You definitely tell this took some abuse on its way over here, but it does not appear to be leaking anywhere. Of course, we will find out when we get this thing open. Beef with rice. We have a tin of baked beef, which is how this translates. Again, this box certainly got chucked around pretty good. Does not appear to be anything leaking or bulging, so that is good. Of course, it would be kind of hard to tell if a soft tin was bulging. Then we have a container of beef with triangle rice. That's how it translates. I'm not 100% sure if the translator is getting it 100% correct, but that's the way it translates. Beef with triangle rice. This one was great. The translator literally translated this to vegetable stuff. So we will have to get into this and see exactly what's in here, but vegetable stuff. We have a golden goby chocolate bar. That's a pretty interesting. We have an Esbit stove with 3 Esbit tablets in a blister pack. Those are always nice. Absolutely looks like the exact same one you get in Russian rations. We have 3 packs of Brazil coffee, and each one of these is a 3-in-1 with cream and sugar already included. Definitely extremely interested to get into one of these, especially this time of the morning. I kind of just want to tear one of these packs open and just go at it and just chug it raw dog, but we'll wait. 3 packs of coffee. Goodness, we have a lot of these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packs of milk tea. That's pretty awesome. I've heard stories about this stuff. We are absolutely going to get into one of these for breakfast and see what is on offer. So you guys know how we roll. I'm going to get some breakfast out on a tray. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back with breakfast. So I definitely got a pack of those biscuits. We have some milk tea, some Brazil coffee, and I chose the rice with beef for breakfast, and I went ahead and boiled the crazy out of this so it is screaming hot. Luckily, that tag just peeled right on off of there. So let's get this milk tea made. That smells like nothing. Actually smells kind of like grain, which is an odd smell for milk and tea, but we will give it a shot. And we have this Brazil coffee. I have pretty high hopes. Hopefully those hopes aren't crushed under the boot of some nasty-ass cup of coffee for breakfast. We are going to hope, because we all know what you need in the morning. You need a cup of coffee to start your day. Get your pour on in the morning. Not quite sure how much water to put to that. Or the milk tea, to be quite honest. We're just going to roll with it. Alright, so let's check out this itty-bitty broken silverware set. Nice little easy open pouch there. So we have the spoon, which is really thin and super chintzy. And we have a broken fork with 2 out of 4 prongs. That's obviously, well, we're going to keep it just because, and I think we'll just let the other 2 forks go by the wayside. Now, it said something on the outside of the box about there being a wet nap in here, and I certainly don't see any wet nap. So we do have 2 kind of thin but relatively nifty napkins that have a pretty cool pattern on them. That's not too shabby. I mean, not exactly great for wiping your butt, maybe good for wiping your face, probably good for a booger. However, there's no butt wipe in this ration, and I got gypped on the moist towelette. Alright, before we get anything else out, I've got to get a try, a sip, a taste, a swig, maybe even a chug of this 3-in-1 Mongolian coffee. I really hope this is good and doesn't suck. Doesn't smell hateful, that's always good. Aside from scorching my tonsils off with that, I'll tell you what, that is extremely creamy, only mildly sweet. It has a decent coffee flavor, very smooth, very low in acidity, which kind of bums me out. However, that is a good tasting cup of smooth coffee with low acidity. Not a bad tasting cup of coffee. So that's definitely a win in my book. I could certainly drink that at any time of the day, and if that was my morning cup of coffee in Mongolia, I'd be pretty satisfied with that, especially for a ration that you don't need to add any cream or sugar to because it's already in there for you. That's a pretty banging cup of coffee. That is a coffee win in the morning. We're going to go back for some more because I haven't had enough of this yet. That's pretty good stuff. Now, milk tea. We're just going to give it a shot because I have no words for this, to be quite honest with you. I have a check at that. I'm wondering, I hope this is like regular milk and not like horse milk or something. I don't know. One never knows. Huh. Okay, so first and foremost, I don't hate it. It's just very odd because I'm going to let it cool off a little bit because it's nuclear hot. So you would expect, first of all, it doesn't taste like tea at all. Secondly, there's zero sweetness to that. That actually has a salty follow-up. It's very odd. I would expect a milky drink to either be neutral or sweet and not salty. That's definitely salty, and it's very different. It's not anything, certainly like nothing I've had before, because I've never intentionally salted, hot milk. That's very interesting. There's no cream, sugar, salt, or pepper with this ration, so there's no hope of like bringing that over to the sweet side. If there were sugar in this ration, I would definitely be adding a pack of sugar to that right now, because I think that would be banging with a pack of sugar added. Kind of like a sweet breakfast drink. It is very different. Certainly glad I got to experience it. This is just some strange stuff for me. Salty milk for breakfast in the morning. That's a little weird. I can't say I don't like it because I'd be lying to you. I can't say I'm in love with it either because I'd be lying to you. It's just very culturally different from what I'm used to tasting. It's very interesting. Definitely going to have to translate the ingredients on that pack so I can let you guys know if I was sitting here sipping on some horse milk. Really not sure how I'd feel about that. I really probably wouldn't care, but whatever. On with the review. So let's get these biscuits out onto the tray. I'm dying to figure out if these are sweet. If these are sweet biscuits, that's going to make this liver pate kind of pointless that there's sweet biscuits in here. They certainly look like shortbread cookies. They definitely took some abuse on the way here, so it's kind of a bummer. We have a couple of them that are still intact. That's not too bad. Let me get one of these small pieces and just get a flavor profile on this thing. Huh. That's excellent. That is very mildly sweet. I mean, quite frankly, this is a lot like a cookie. I'm going to try it with some pate, although I think the sweet vanilla flavor in this biscuit is going to throw the liver pate off like a boss. Honestly, that's like having a pack of shortbread cookies. Those are pretty amazing. A little bit of a salty finish to them. Otherwise, those are excellent. Like, I'm kind of sad they only gave you 3 packs. I mean, this ration is coming in at 4,753 calories. And with as few items as I laid out on the table, that's kind of hard to imagine. But it certainly is. I mean, if you read each one of the different ingredients and check the calorie count, 4,753 is the calorie count, so I'm thinking that all of these mains are chock full of fat. That's the only way I could see them getting that many calories into 4 containers of this size, roughly 300 grams a piece. But let's check out this main, see if I can not scald my fingers on it. There's very little chance of that. I'm out. Okay, out. Out, come on. Oh. That's about how I would expect a soft tin main to look. And right off the bat, the smell coming out of that is pretty amazing, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to get that under the nose here real quick. Ah, that actually smells really good. Doesn't look so great inside of the tin, but we'll wait till we get it out onto the tray to see what this thing is really about. Certainly got it nice and hot though. This thing, really. And you can definitely, wait a minute, that's ridiculous. Nah. Well, you know what? This is the spoon out of a Russian Sturm ration, so I imagine Russia and Mongolia are geographically kind of close. So we will use a Russian ration spoon, one that'll actually hold up to some abuse. You know, and that does not look dry at all, which is very nice. So this is the beef and white rice. I'm really kind of lamenting the fact that they didn't put any salt and pepper in this ration. I guess breakfast food was off the table as well, so you just kind of get like more like a kasha in the morning. Or I guess you have it however you want to. Because we could have just had vegetable stuff for breakfast. Before we get a bite of that, let's check out this liver pate, or liver mash as it translated to. Ooh, oh. That looks suspect. It definitely looks suspect. It's definitely hard to tell with this main, like, wafting its smell directly in my face. Really hope this is still good. Let's just get it out on the tray, do a complete inspection. Ooh. Well, it doesn't look any better like that than it did inside the can. In fact, it kind of made things ever so slightly worse. Let me get a taste of this thing to see if it is still... I mean, I probably shouldn't get a taste of it, but hopefully that's just fat, that little white ring of, like, weird stuff around the exterior. We're about to find out, though, because I have a feeling if this has gone bad, it's about to let me know large and in charge. I'm not getting any strange tastes, nor any strange sensations. That is a really excellent liver pate. Very mild, not too metallic, very well blended. Super high fat content, obviously. I'll tell you what, though, that is just a couple steps down from the best liver pate I've had. That's pretty amazing. Before I even dig into this main, I'm a big pate fan, so I'm pretty tickled that I got a big old container of liver pate. Not so tickled that I have cookies to put it on. That's a little weird to me, but we're going to give it a shot anyway because, well, because pate. Check out some of that pate on a cookie. We're going for it. You know, that's really not bad. It certainly wouldn't be the vessel of choice for me to add a liver pate to. I would much rather just save these as cookies, but then what exactly do you do with the liver pate? Liver pate is definitely best enjoyed with some decent biscuits or crackers. And I'm just kind of lamenting the fact that these cookies are being used as the vessel for this liver pate. But I guess we do have 2 more packs of those cookies to enjoy as kind of like a dessert for each meal. So we're just going to suck it up, and we're going to eat this liver pate. I know that pate really kind of is one of those acquired tastes. Not everybody likes it, and that's totally cool. But if you do like liver pate, this is definitely a ration you want to lay hands on, because that's a really quality liver pate. Like I said, just a couple steps down from the best liver pate I've had. That's pretty awesome. This is right up there with the liver pate that was in that Sturm ration. maybe a couple steps down from it, but I'm telling you what, this is a lot of liver pate, and it's really high quality. This is good stuff. I'm going to follow that up with a little sip of this milk tea. I'll tell you what, following a savory item up with a sip of this milk tea is really where it's at. It's kind of strange. Like, it is a salty, hot drink that when you bring it to your nose, really does almost have like a cooked grain smell, which is really odd. And it really doesn't taste like tea at all. It's just strange and oddly good. I'm not quite sure how this is even possible. We definitely have to check out a bite of this beef and rice. There's not a whole lot going on in here. Literally just finely minced beef and rice. However, the smell coming off of this is absolutely amazing. So there must be some seasoning in here that I just can't see, because it smells great. Let's get that first bite. You know, that is really good. A really good breakfast item. There's definitely onions in here. You can taste the onions. Can't really see them, but I'll be honest with you. I almost feel like this is mislabeled, because if you look at the grain that's in here, it's like no rice that I've ever seen before. It's very round and chunky. It almost reminds you more of like a buckwheat or a pearled barley. I know it's not barley, but just the shape of it certainly is reminiscent of that. And to be quite honest with you, I don't really care what's in it. This is actually really good. The beef in this main is really finely minced. It's kind of hard to find a piece to really bring to the camera to show you guys, because it's all interspersed with the rice. However, there is a lot of beef in here. It's almost like no matter where you look throughout the main, there's tiny little pieces of beef everywhere. That's certainly not a bad thing. I mean, it's mildly salty, which is really nice. Very strong beef flavor. Very soft, very easy to eat. High fat content, but doesn't leave a greasy feeling in your mouth, which is awesome. I would absolutely love to put some pepper on this, but it's not included in the ration, so there's that. And that's really a really wholesome, that's a good mood food right there. I'm not a big breakfast guy, so doing these 24-hour rations is a little difficult for me. But I tell you what, I'm not going to have any problem putting this down just simply because it's good. The ration certainly is missing a cold drink, though. That's definitely a bummer. Got to get back into my pate and cookies. Can't let that go to waste. If I only had a cracker to go with that, oh, that would be off the hook. So I heated up this main in a pot of boiling water for about 15 minutes. The awesome thing about that is that this heated up really well, completely thoroughly, nothing burned. That's pretty amazing. I was just trying to save some time in the review, so I didn't have to do 3 meals over the Esbit stove. We'll try to do a little Esbit lit dinner for you guys and me. Maybe lunchtime, probably more like dinner. We'll do a little bit of, big dinner over a nice Esbit lit table. It'll be all romantic for us. That'll be super nice. This is the craziest drink I think I've ever had in a ration. And it's such a good chaser to savory food. That's absolutely crazy. Now this coffee's not going to scald my face off. And that coffee is probably the best 3-in-1, hands down, I've ever had in a ration. It might not be the perfect cup of coffee, but it is absolutely the most convenient cup of coffee. Really nice and rich and creamy. That's a great cup of coffee. I'm actually really impressed with that. I've got to say, that was a really hearty, savory, well-seasoned main dish. Way better than its Russian counterparts. I know they didn't call it a kasha, but that's pretty much what it was. That was really good. Well-seasoned, fatty without being greasy, savory without being super bland. That was awesome. Oh, just wish I had a standard, regular old cracker. But I guess I'm eating liver and cookies. Liver cookies. Mongolian liver cookies for breakfast. Alright, so I had to do it. I have that other UAE ration that was just kind of sitting there staring at me, screaming that I'm open, I've got biscuits in me. I just want to give this pate a day in court when it's not on a cookie. Normally that's not my style, but I am a bit of a pate nerd, so I really wanted to have this pate on a standard cracker. So I've just got to give this a day in court on a standard cracker. I'm telling you, I got to write the Mongolian government and tell them, you're doing your border patrol wrong by sending them out there without at least one pack of just regular old savory crackers for this pate. Because they're putting a banging pate in a ration and then pairing it with cookies. Quite honestly, thus far, and it's only breakfast, so stay with me, that's my only complaint. with anything I've seen so far is that cookies and pate aren't exactly the best pair, but on a standard biscuit, oh, to die for. And I am 100% positive there is somebody out there in YouTube land that would absolutely lose their frickin' mind and have a conniption if I had shortbread cookies and didn't dunk. It's really not my gig, but you know what? I'm here for both of us, for me and for you. So we're going to rock a little dunk. Make some wet cookie action. And that's not bad at all. It just makes the cookie wet. That's really all there is to it. I still really don't understand that whole dunking thing. But to those of you who are dunkers, I imagine if making your cookie pre-wet before it hits your mouth is your thing, that's certainly a good beverage to do it in. Okay, everybody. This was Mongolian breakfast. I gotta say, this was a pretty awesome meal. This is a very calorie-dense and heavy way to start the day. Coffee was amazing. Milk tea was kind of great. Like, I don't even know. It's just kind of great. It's so different. It's awesome. Pate, that's some excellent pate. Beef with rice, absolutely amazing. The Russians could take a few things away from that. Learn how to make some kasha. The Mongolians apparently know how to do it. And these little cookies with all these cute little flowers over them, I tell you what, these are some excellent semi-sweet shortbread cookies. And that's what I'm about to sit here and do. I'm going to finish off this coffee with these little shortbread cookies. You guys know how it goes. I will be back here at lunchtime with some Mongolian lunch. Okay, everybody, welcome back to lunch. And I decided to go a little large and in charge on lunch. At least I think so. So we are going to have that baked beef, that vegetable stuff, a pack of the biscuits or cookies. Got to go in for another milk tea and another coffee because drink options are certainly limited in this ration. It's the one thing here where I am. It's a little bit on the warm side today, so I'm definitely lamenting the lack of cold drink in this ration. But it is what it is. We're going to crack into it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make up this coffee and tea. And this coffee really is amazeballs. Oh yeah. Use our little baby spoon. As hot as this water is, these, I would imagine these are tea solids in here. They just don't want to break down and mix in. There is grain listed in the ingredients for this tea. However, none of this, maybe that's not tea, like maybe that's not tea solids, maybe it's just pieces of grain, but it certainly does not want to mix in completely. Whatever it is, still really interesting stuff though. Still pretty jazzed to be having it for lunch. That milk tea is probably a respectable portion of the calories in this ration, so it's definitely a very interesting item. And like I did with breakfast, I pre-boiled the mains. As you can see, we have the baked beef, and we have the vegetable stuff, which in my mind, I am mixing together on the tray. So I think maybe a bed of vegetable stuff, then smothered by beef. I don't know. We're going to figure it out, though. You know, this is the fun part of soft tins, or maybe the not so fun part is trying to get them open without, like, scalding yourself or splashing yourself with the hot, steaming hot contents of the soft tin. Oh. Hey, look at that. Now that definitely smells like there's beef involved in the cooking of these vegetable stuffs. But what it really looks like is potatoes and carrots. That's kind of cool. I really didn't know what to expect. The picture on the label wasn't super descriptive. So we're just going to tip this mess out onto the tray and see what we've got going on. That was completely misleading. Absolutely. I don't know that I would have chosen this particular way to go for lunch, but that looks like a big old hunk of meat. That is not what I was expecting when it said vegetable stuff. So this is definitely vegetable stuff with some meat stuff. So this is a pretty, well, at the moment, a pretty grungy looking piece of meat here. But I guess we already heated up the baked beef, so we may as well go for it. So we're just going to have a really meat-heavy lunch. Oh, ow. Well, you certainly can't say these things aren't sealed, because they absolutely are sealed. Whew, the fight is real. That is scorching hot. So I don't know if we're going to get to be able to dump this out in the main tray portion. Tell you what, I don't want to beef up those cookies, so I am going to move them out of the way as I make a complete mess out of the center portion of this tray. We'll dump the rest of it in there. Holy. And that's a lot of juice in that tray that I have absolutely nothing to do with, unfortunately, because these cookies, because exactly what they taste like to me, these are not going to be beef juice soaking cookies. That's not happening. So I'm going to hope that we don't contaminate the cookies by having that. Well, we are definitely going to contaminate the cookies. Let me just mess up the whole tray and get some of that volume out of there so I can stop that juice from contaminating my cookies. There we go. You know, packaging these things a little differently would certainly be awesome to keep them more intact, but they're still pretty awesome little cookies. I'm going to start out with a sip of this milk tea just because it's so interesting. I know this ration already has a lot of calories in it. There's no sugar in this ration, but I really wish there was a couple packs of sugar in here to throw in that milk tea. That would be an amazing, sweet, hot milk drink. It would be off the hook. As it is with the salty aftertaste, it's still really good and very different. I just wish there was some sugar to throw in there. That would absolutely be amazing. So I guess we can kind of try these separately, even though they're along the same lines. We just have some cooked beef over here in broth. And then we have potatoes, carrots, and some more cooked beef. And again, with this ration having no salt and pepper, I really hope this is seasoned great, because otherwise it's going to be pretty bland. Although breakfast didn't let me down, so I guess I should just be quiet until I have that first bite. And this is definitely a nice fatty piece of meat. Again, that is certainly where a lot of the calories in this ration are coming from. Now, unless you're just into drinking beef broth out of the container, you're kind of losing all those calories unless you're just, you know, chugging all that beef juice. But we'll just have to see. I can tell you, I'm not drinking all that beef juice, but if I were hungry enough, I possibly would. Let's take a look at that. Not exactly the most attractive piece of beef, although everything in this ration for breakfast was pretty amazing, so I'm just going to keep an open mind. And that really has a nice beefy flavor. The potatoes and carrots are nice and soft. The broth that it's in, very fatty, very rich, really yummy. Again, if this had some pepper, it doesn't need any salt at all. Really, the prevalent flavors are beef and onion, and then the potatoes have a little bit of their own flavor, but they have taken on that really beefy flavor being cooked in the container with this beef. From the picture, this wasn't what I was expecting, so I can't say that I'm disappointed, although I was hoping to have, you know, some meat to add into whatever vegetables were, you know, in this dish. But it looks like it came with meat. So I guess having, maybe you would eat 4 times a day if you were a Mongol border guard. So that would make kind of make sense. You can absolutely taste like an onion, probably some garlic in there. That's pretty much the prevalent flavors we have going on, is the beef, onion, and garlic. It is really good. It could just really use some black pepper. And this is another dish that's very soft and easy to eat. Kind of leaves a little to be desired in the texture department, but it is very hearty and it's very wholesome. The beef might not look really good, but it certainly tastes good. So this is a pretty awesome main. Absolutely got to get a sip of this 3-in-1 coffee. We absolutely chose right when they decided to put that 3-in-1 coffee in there. It reduced the amount of components to 3 for the entire day's worth of coffee. It is super convenient for the person to make that's consuming this ration, and it's just damn good. I'm sorry, that is a good cup of coffee, already ready to go. Cream, sugar, the whole shebang, right in one spot. That is an excellent cup of coffee. 0 complaints about the coffee. I really would have liked to have seen a cold drink in this ration. I keep harping on that, probably because it's hot outside here, I can't imagine every day in Mongolia is hot drink day. And we're just going to try a piece of this baked beef on its own. That's got some jigglers on it right there. That's got some serious connective tissue fat jiggler. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. That is, well, to some that might be disgusting. To me, I have no issue with it. That fat and connective tissue that is still left on this beef really makes it taste amazing. Again, my only complaint is give me some pepper. This would be off the hook with just a little bit of pepper sprinkled on it. Pepper weighs nothing. Come on, Mongolia. Put some pepper in here. I can't stop eating that. That's really good. Give me that big old jiggly hunk of fat. Oh, yeah. That's actually a really good tasting piece of beef right there. It's amazing. It's really crazy when you get a ration like this that has such simple ingredients and really not a huge amount of ingredients. Like, you know, you lay this 24-hour ration out on the table, it's not extremely huge. But I tell you what, it's really nice to get in here, pepper or lack thereof notwithstanding, and get in here and just get some really decent, tasty food. And that's exactly what this is. Nothing fancy about it, nothing gourmet about it. This is just down-home, yummy, slow-cooked beef, vegetables. This is pretty amazing. You are leaving a lot of calories behind. If there was a suitable vessel to get all this into your face, this is a real shame to leave behind. I'll tell you what, I'm going to sacrifice a couple of them, even though it just seems completely counterintuitive to put cookies inside a beef broth. We'll get some of these small pieces here and just kind of chuck them over in there. They're not sweet enough to where it's really going to taste like an actual cookie inside a beef broth, but it's close enough that it just really seems counterintuitive to be doing this. You know, it's almost a bummer to review something like this because it's kind of hard to talk because I just want to stuff it in my face. But there's no real complex flavor or texture here to try to explain to you. And these are all normal, everyday items for most people. You know, potatoes, carrots, beef. So there's not a whole lot to explain other than the fact it's really good. This certainly is some ugly looking beef though. I gotta be honest. It is not the most attractive ration I've ever eaten, for sure. Alright, let's see how my cookie bits did swimming around in this beef juice. Kind of disgusting. I mean, if it was a regular cracker, it wouldn't be, but knowing there's a cookie in there, just kind of, you know, we're going to give it a shot anyway. You know, that's really not bad. If you were extraordinarily hungry and extraordinarily active and weren't able to bring like a savory item like a regular cracker or bread to kind of soak up this juice, this would be the way to do it, except for you'd have to sacrifice your cookies, which would definitely piss me off. But the juice this beef was cooked in is extremely savory, very salty, not overly like salty in an unenjoyable way, and it did its job by imparting a really good flavor to the beef. And the fat content of that broth is absolutely off the hook. I could probably guarantee you there are 400 or 500 calories floating around in the bottom of this tray right now. Easy. I'll be honest with you, this would be a great meal to take camping or hiking. This has been very filling so far. Maybe just open up the box, toss yourself in some salt, pepper, some cold drink packs, maybe some sugar for the milk tea, and you'd be juiced up for like hiking or hard camping or something like that. You would definitely have the energy to get there. And as you can imagine, not a single piece of this meat has been dry in any way, shape, or form. There's just way too much fat in these mains for that beef to have any dryness at all. Russia, eat your heart out, because Mongolia is rocking out the stewed beef, whereas you guys have been failing me the last few rations that I've had, especially that Russian mountain ration. Oh, that dog food pasta. Oh. You know what time it is. Time for a little milk and cookies. All right, guys. Well, as crazy enough as it is, there not being a ton of components in this ration, these videos are turning out to be a little shorter than I expected. But I am certainly, without any doubt, going to finish up this coffee, regardless of whether it's lunchtime. Coffee is good any time of the day. And am I going to have coffee with dinner? Absolutely, I'm going to have coffee with dinner. What were you thinking? So we will be back at you with dinner. I'm going to munch on these cookies, finish off this coffee. Absolutely going to slurp down the rest of that milk because it's just really interesting. I will see you guys at dinner. Okay, welcome back to dinner, everybody. we are going to be rocking out with this beef with triangled rice, which I promised you guys a romantic Esbit lit dinner, and we're going to get on that. Beef with triangle rice. We've got our milk tea, our coffee, our biscuits. We have this golden goby chocolate bar for dessert, along with the biscuits, to be quite honest with you. And we are going to have a couple of these milk teas left over. It's kind of hot outside right now, and I'm not really in the mood for a whole lot more hot drinks, but we are definitely going to get these done for dinner. So without any more babbling, I'm going to get to making this coffee and this milk tea. That coffee smells so damn good. So we're going to get our Esbit stove set up, and as you can see, these have the strikers right on the tablet, which is pretty awesome, meaning that you don't need a pack of matches because everything you need to light the Esbit stove is included in the kit, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. Not that having some extra matches would hurt, because it certainly wouldn't, but having the striker right on the Esbit tablet is a really cool feature. And we have this cute little guy right here. So this is what this Esbit stove looks like when you fold it up, but because I'm going to use my mess cup, I am going to use a different Esbit stove, just simply because this is really more designed if you're going to heat it up inside of the tin. I really don't want to heat it up inside of the soft tin. I want to heat it up inside of my mess cup just to get a little bit more thorough heating and less burning. So just for demonstration purposes, that is what your Esbit stove would look like. Alright, so let's get this beef and triangle rice opened up and take a look at that. It's a whole lot easier to open these up when they're not scalding hot, that's for sure. That looks pretty basic. Let's give that a sniff. It smells really good though. It absolutely looks basic, but it smells good. So let's get this Esbit stove going. So we have our little striker here. And there is a section of essentially match head right on top of that Esbit tablet, which should light up pretty easy. Alright, that was pretty violent. Before that whole thing catches ablaze and I torch my fingers, let's get that right in the center. Let's get all this wholesome goodness into the mess cup, ready to get heated up. If we could do that without making a mess, I would appreciate me a lot. Chances of that are pretty slim, by the way. But, you know, you work with what you got. Alright, that's pretty funky looking in there. Still smells pretty good though. I'll tell you what, I'm going to scrape some of that funky fattiness and put it right back in there, because that's where it belongs. Give me some of that yellow weirdness. That's all good. Oh, wait, this isn't very romantic. Hold on for a second. That should be better. So how you doing tonight? Oh yeah. Don't worry. I'm gonna heat this dinner up for us. It's gonna be nice and piping hot. Did you want some coffee? Or maybe some milk tea? Oh, I know you do. Oh yeah. Oh wait, that? Oh, that's from another ration. No, I didn't set a condom out just because you were coming over. No, I'm not that kind of guy. It's just there because I did this other ration review and there was a condom. No, seriously, I mean it. I promise there was a condom in the ration. Seriously. It came out of the ration, I swear. It's not like I was just getting you here with me to like put the moves on you. I didn't sit that, no. It's just a prop on the table. Don't think I'm like that, because I'm not like that. So what's your sign? When were you born? You're looking good tonight. You know that? You're looking real good. I just want to tell you, you're looking good. Yeah, absolutely. You be looking fine. Oh, absolutely. I'll get a sip of that coffee. Let's try some. You know how much I like coffee? You know how much I like coffee. Oh, baby. It's okay. Hot food splashes at me all the time. Don't worry. Ow. No, I burn myself all the time. It's not abnormal. I melt spoons on dates all the time. Romantic dinner isn't romantic dinner unless you're melting the spoon. I mean, yeah. It's all good. Let's let that get a little hotter. No, I meant the food, not you. Not you, the food. Just stop now. I'm serious. That is from a ration. I didn't put that out just because you're here having romantic dinner with me. So stop. Come on now. I'm a gentleman. I'm going to add just a little bit of water to this, simply because I think until that fat really starts to heat up, that is going to burn the heck out of that. I'm sorry, back to the romance. Yeah, baby, I just put some water in here because I want you to have a good meal with me. Yeah. Uh-huh. You like that song? I like this song. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. We're just heating up some food together. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite meal at a date is rations. What you talking about? This is like going to a Mongolian restaurant. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, at least that's one thing you can say. Who else takes you to Mongolia to eat? Ration Nerd takes you to Mongolia. Come on now. Did you want to try? Oh, we are gonna have to get some of that milk tea, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sweet, just like you, baby. No, actually, it's salty, but you're sweet. You're sweet. The milk tea is salty. All right, so by now, you're either ready to vomit or you're really turned on. You don't have to tell me. It's okay. You can just do you. If you really like that whole bit, then you just keep on rolling with it. That's where it ends for this evening, though. We're done with the romance. We're back to the ration review. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that. And for those of you that didn't, well, you're normal then. But those of you that did enjoy it, well, you know, this might be a time of inflection for you. So let me know in the comments, you know, or don't. I mean, you know, it is 2024. You can, whichever way, do whatever you want, you know. So, yeah, back to this here mess cup full of mess we've got going on. This is actually smelling pretty darn good. So I'm actually looking forward to this. To be honest, this is a whole lot like basic Russian fare. Although, I have to say that all of these mains have been tastier than the mains in Russian rations so far. So this is all kind of basic, and each meal has been pretty much the same, kind of like a rice and meat, which, you know, in Mongolia, having this much meat in a day may be a really awesome thing. It is certainly a convenient way to pack calories into a soldier or a border guard, and it is pretty tasty as I fling part of it all over the table, which is par for the course here on Ration Nerd. You might just come for the humor, you might come for the food, you might come for the mess, you might come for the snark. Who knows? Who knows? Just the fact that you're here tickles my... well, it tickles some part of me. So while the last of that is heating up, I was so hot and bothered by that romance scene, I forgot to open up the chocolate and the biscuits. My apologies. So this used to be one complete chocolate bar, but it is now some cool looking diamond shaped chocolates. Not too shabby. What you think? And those biscuits, which I happen to really love these biscuits. Although these are cookies in my book. These are just straight up shortbread cookies. They're excellent though. That's my bite. Alright, so before this burns too horribly, and I honestly have to say, my preferred heating method for these soft tins is boiling the crap out of them. Because when you boil them, and you boil them for a long time, I'm talking about a rolling boil for about 15 minutes, you really do get a really hot, really evenly heated meal. All the fats reincorporate into the dish, which is exactly what you're looking for. I did that just so we could have a little romantic dinner together. But, quite frankly, boiling them was way better as far as just an evenness of heat, not drying anything out, not losing any food, because it all just came right off of the tin, whereas inside of the mess cup, There's a good bit of that that's not coming out anytime soon. Well, without any comedy, let's get some of this coffee because it's damn good. If you haven't watched Breakfast or Lunch, which I don't know why you're here and haven't watched Breakfast and Lunch, but this is some good coffee. I am never upset about a good cup of coffee, no matter what time of day it is. I will have to say that the coffee and the milk tea with every meal is a little redundant, although they're new. Well, coffee's not new, but this particular one is new to me, and this milk tea is new to me. So they're very interesting. But over a long period of time, just having these two drinks, wow, that would get really boring. I don't know how many of these milk teas you'd put down just because you'd be so bored with it. Just for a pack of sugar. A pack of sugar would make that absolutely amazing. It'd be like a dessert drink. I'm going to dive right into this main here. We absolutely have some really tiny shredded pieces of carrot. Not nearly as much meat in this dish as we had in the others. What meat there is very finely ground. This is predominantly rice, and they're calling this triangle rice. Haven't quite figured that out. I don't see any real triangular shapes in here. I will give you guys a nice close-up of this so you can decide for yourselves. But we definitely have carrots, beef, and triangle rice. So let's take a look at that. Not really seeing any super triangle shapes here. Maybe it tastes like triangles. Who knows? Let's get a bite. Oh, absolutely tastes like triangles. No. But what it does, it's very savory. It actually tastes like a mixture of beef and chicken fat, which is definitely interesting. You can absolutely taste the carrot coming through, which is nice. The beef is really an afterthought flavor. I mean, there's some beef broth in here and beef fat, but it's certainly not the predominant flavor. Beef really was the predominant flavor in breakfast and lunch, so I'm not necessarily upset about it. However, this really does just taste like seasoned rice. This is another one of those meals that's just soft, easy to eat. Like if you didn't get this crazy hot and you were in a real hurry, it would take no time just to kind of like chug this whole 300 gram portion of this beef and triangle rice and be able to batch your business. You know, the further I get into it, there is a good bit of connective tissue in here, which is actually really flavorful. So when you get a piece of that connective tissue, it's actually a much better bite than just the standard, but it brings back that whole predominant beef flavor. Not that that's a bad thing. All these mains have been really tasty. Definitely could have used some pepper. I don't know what Mongolia has against pepper and salt, but apparently they don't like them. But this is a really solid, tasty main. Definitely a fatty dish. There's a lot of fat content in this. A little bit of a greasy mouthfeel, but not very unpleasant, so at least it has that going for it. I really did melt my spoon. See what I get for trying to romance you guys? I screw up my Russian sturm spoon. And this flavor's not extremely complex, but it is just good down-to-earth food. I don't think anybody would have an issue with this unless you were adverse to one of the ingredients. Otherwise, as far as flavor goes, I don't want to say it's flavor neutral, because it's not flavor neutral, but just about anybody that liked rice, beef, and carrots could eat this without a whole lot of complaints. And it certainly has that slow-cooked flavor to it. The rice is a little bit on the mushy side. I'm not sure if that's the type of rice that's in here or just in the canning process, the rice got pretty mushy. It's not bad, though. It did soak up a lot of flavor. Again, I was hoping for some horse meat or something. I felt like I got kind of gypped on the interesting, crazy side of this because there really wasn't anything super crazy about this ration. It was all really just down-to-earth food. I mean, I wasn't exactly expecting Genghis Khan to jump out of the ration box and, like, dominate the ration table. But I was expecting something a little bit more unique. But, you know, I got a whole day's worth of food. It was actually completely edible. Pretty yummy. Milk tea is definitely different. And I had good coffee for a change. That's always a bonus. It can't be all that bad. I'm certainly putting a hurting on this thing. You know, I'm honest about everything. And that was a really good main. I'm not exactly really happy about everything just kind of being like rice and beef, rice and beef, rice and beef. However, every single dish in this meal was good. There was nothing nasty or janky or overly dry or overly fatty or overly anything. Everything was just edible. And some of it was definitely more than edible. Some of it was actually really yummy. Like that. That was a really good meal. Maybe a little bit on the boring side, a little bit on the basic side, but, I mean, there was no Genghis Khan, but it was a good meal. Now, I'm absolutely going to get a piece of this chocolate. So let's get a bite of this Mongolian chocolate. Definitely looking forward to that. Now, it says on the packaging that this is chocolate with nuts and raisins. I don't think I got a single nut or raisin in that bite. Let's try again. Well, I definitely got a piece of raisin in that bite. That wasn't too bad. And that certainly isn't my favorite chocolate I've ever had in a ration. That is a very light milk chocolate. Very sweet. It does have some really fine pieces of nuts and raisins in it. Not bad at all. That would certainly not stand the test of time. It wouldn't take long for that to go completely rancid. But that is, if you're into milk chocolate, you'd probably be really happy with that. And if you didn't like nuts and raisins, there's not that much in there anyway, so you could probably completely get around that fact. Not a bad chocolate bar. Definitely something different. And you know it's milk and cookie time. Oh my god. I'm doing this for you, dunkers. You wet cookie people out there. Still don't really see what you guys see in the whole dunking thing, but I dunked it for you. That milk tea really is unique. Not really sure I even care what animal that came from. It's really good. One thing I did notice that I forgot to mention at breakfast and lunch, because I finished this milk tea up after filming, is that there is definitely some grain that is on the bottom of this milk tea. So it's almost like, if you could imagine, just having like maybe a half a teaspoon or something of cream of wheat in the bottom. That's pretty much what it's like. It's just like cream of wheat. Not 100% sure why that tiny little bit of grain is in the bottom of that tea, but it's okay, because it's pretty good. Alright guys, thank you for joining me here on Ration Nerd for this 24-hour Mongolian Border Patrol ration. This was absolutely a lot of fun. Been dying to get into one of these for a long time. You know what? As much as I was hoping for and expecting some kind of crazy experience, this really neat digital camo box was just full of some decent, good food. A little lacking in the cold drink department. However, you get a whole lot of tea and really good coffee. A whole heck of a lot of calories in a pretty cool box. Can't really complain. So Mongolian Border Patrol is absolutely eating good. That's excellent for them. But if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, you know the drill. Like button, subscribe button, talk to me in the chat. But if you find a ration cooler than this, if you find one, you know what to do. Eat 'em up.